Hello, my name is Malcolm, and welcome to episode 3 of Manly Ego podcast. Let's talk about love. Men don't talk about this. Now, I'm not saying men don't talk about it. The whole idea of this episode is to encourage men to talk about love and their feelings, and especially in the context of a relationship. Because let's face it, when I'm in social settings, do I sit there and talk about love with my male friends? Nope. When I used to go down the pub, did I? And I've never really been a pub person, I've said that before. But no. At house parties, if I was just chilling with a mate, no. I might have talked about being in a relationship and the bad things that were going on, or if I'd just broken up with my girlfriend, that kind of thing. But I'd never talk about love in the way of expressing how I felt and the positive vibes it gave me and the high energy I had. I wouldn't do that because that wasn't manly enough. I couldn't get caught talking like that, or people look at me as I'm soft and effeminate and all in my feelings. No, 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 no. Well, that was a stereotype. That was how I thought I'd be perceived, and I think that's how most men think they'll be perceived. So this episode, I am. It may how do I put it? It may come across as kind of like an interview, me interviewing myself. I hope it doesn't come across as such as an interview. But the reason I say that is because I've got some notes written down, and the reason being because I've never explored this topic myself. This come to me last week to do the episode based on this, and I've never sat down and reflected about love and what it means to me and how I think like love has shown up in my life and what has shaped my perception on love. I've never done this before, so I've got some notes. So I cover. I say notes; they're more like questions or subtitles to hopefully cover what I think are the relevant points in my experience. So I hope that will create the right impact. I hope it does, and I hope that I uncover the right questions, and that comes across in this episode as an enjoyable, reflective episode. And maybe it's something that if you haven't already done it before, maybe I'm late to the party. If you haven't done something like this before, maybe it's something that might even work for you. Because I'm quite excited to try this. I haven't done any rehearsal for this. I don't for any of the episodes, but this, the way I've done this, I'm excited. So let's go. So episode 3, like I said, let's talk about love. Men don't talk about this, and we do hope we're going to change that. What has shaped my view on love? Straight away I hit myself off with a big question like that, and what come to mind when I wrote that question was a few things. So I'm adopted. I can't remember if I spoke about that in any of the previous episodes. So I'm adopted, and my biological family, biological parents, they never married. The family that are my real family, the family that raised me, that's why I referenced my biological family, because they're the ones that, yeah, parents brought me into the world, but my parents are the ones that raised me. So my real family, being the family that adopted me, both my mum and dad married multiple times, not with each other, but with other partners. Had relationships that what led to marriage. I believe it was 3 times each, maybe 4 for one, 3 for the other. So I wonder if that has had a bearing on what love is for me, because thinking the way I sort of think about it now is that if they were both married 3 times or more, it doesn't mean that the relationships they were in weren't loving relationships, but it makes me think, is love something that is easy to fall into, or is that not really love? Because let's face it, you can get any book or talk to your experts, but no one can really tell anyone what love is or how you should fall in love. All they can do is give guidelines to what maybe will help you create a more successful relationship, whatever success is in your eyes. So, what has shaped my view on love? So, the fact that my biological parents never married, and the fact that my real family that raised me, my real parents, married multiple times. So, there's contradictions there, and there's no wrong or right or whatnot, but there's contradictions there in my mind. So, I do think that may have played a part somewhere along the line. I don't know how, but hey, we're just going with this, right? Um, do I think I've ever been in love? I do feel I've been in love. I think I've been in love, I would say 3 times. I would say I think I've been in love 3 times, maybe even four. But here's the thing, each time I've been in love, I feel it has progressed. The next time I had a new relationship, evolved. The next time I had a relationship, and it's almost like, okay, here's the first time I was in love, which I thought was real love. The second time I was in love, now I feel this was real love. And then the third time, so it's almost like if I'm looking at the first time I was in love, and then, or I say I was in love to the last time I was in love, are they the same? No, they felt different. Yeah, they were different people, but it felt different. And that's, I guess, because I'm growing, I'm evolving. Um, the world's changing around me. What I hear about love, what the experts say, what we're meant to do to make love, all these things, will play a part. But I personally feel it's down to the fact that I've grown and evolved, and I do work a lot on myself. I'm good at realizing my mistakes. It doesn't mean I manage to rectify them before I get into the next relationship, but I'm aware of where I've gone wrong with things. Um, so I think all these things do help. But the love I've had in these relationships, I do doubt, well, was that really love? I mean, in the moment, in the period, yeah, sure, it was love, but it really does make me wonder when I sit back and reflect, like, was that really love then? What made me decide it was love? Is it feelings of excitement that I call love because it's a relationship, or is it actually love? You know, these are the things that are coming to mind now, and things I have reflected on. After a relationship has not worked out. But then there's also that feeling of when a relationship is developing, and I feel I'm falling in love with this person. Is this the same falling in love feeling I had before I got into this relationship, or is it different? It really does, make me ponder what is love, and how has love affected me, and what does it really mean to me. So yeah, I feel I've been in love, but I guess it's evolving and changing, and I guess that's really the only way I can look at it. It changes as I change. It changes as I grow. It changes as the world grows. it changes depending on my needs and how I feel, I guess. But I will say I've been in love. Do I want marriage? Do I want marriage? Funnily enough, let me tell you a little story. I haven't been married, by the way. Haven't been engaged. Um, I was at work. I was sitting at a table with my colleagues at work. I can't remember what we were talking about. It could have been just general chit chat about whatever. And I'm guessing somehow the conversation moved towards relationships, and could have even been marriage. I know I didn't initiate that conversation, but what I do remember was I kind of was looking within myself and thinking, and I remember saying, "Do you know what?" I can't remember who it was to, and I wouldn't mention their name anyway. But I remember saying to one of the colleagues on the table, "Do you know what? I want to get married. If I don't get married, it's not the end of the world, but I want to get married." And I said it with conviction, and I meant it. And it's like, I want to get married. And that's not down to religious purposes or because I think I'm meant to. I guess there's something in me that wanted that feeling of marriage. And with that feeling, for me, it is knowing I've married someone because they are that important to me. I love them that much that I want to share my world with them and I want them to share their world with me. And I want the feeling to be so powerful, not like possessive or controlling. I want it to feel so powerful that we are so drawn to each other that we want each other in that same way. We want that special bond. We want that, that energy shield, that love heart energy around us both. And that's all we can imagine. And that's all we want. And we don't want that with anyone else. Now, I don't know if that's how it feels for people that are married. Sorry, because I know there's so many different reasons and um, motivations for some people to get married. It could be religious with others. It could be financial with others. It could be not wanting to be lonely. And I don't have any judgment on any reason. But for me, I believe I want that feeling of knowing I love someone so much that I want to marry them. So I do want to get married, but it's not the end all. But leading off of that, for me, what it has changed to more recently isn't so much, and this has been again over the last year, I would say. This isn't so much that I want to get married, it's that I want a life partner. Now, I simply define a life partner as someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. If we get married, that's great, that's beautiful. If we don't, but we still stay together because we want to spend our lives with each other. Not because we think it's convenient, not because there's no one else, not because we're lonely. We want to spend our lives together. I have no doubt that this lady wants to spend her life with me. She has no doubt that I want to spend my life with her. Marriage is a ring on the finger, is paperwork. No, okay, that happens, it happens. But the life partner for me is powerful. Having a life partner is someone I know they're on their journey with me. We are sharing our journey together. We are walking that path together. Not necessarily stuck at the hip, because that's not healthy, that's not great, but we are sharing that journey together. We're in sync with each other. We know each other's ins and outs. We know when each other needs a hug, or when we need space, or when we need to be intimate. When the other one wants, and we have all that connection, we have all that bond. and we are, if not best friends, very close to best friends. I want I want a life partner. And if marriage comes with that, then great. If it doesn't, I want a life partner. Because I don't believe humans are supposed to be lonely. I don't believe that they're meant to live, life by themselves. Yeah, many people say, I want to be independent. I am independent. That's great. Being independent is important because we have to be independent at stages. But I believe humans are meant to be connected. We wouldn't be in this world if there wasn't a connection of sorts between humans. We couldn't be here. So I want a life partner. If that happens, we will see. 50 Cent said, get rich or die trying. I will, well, I hope I don't die trying, but I mean, I will get myself involved in the things that will help or potentially help me find that partner by socializing, by having conversations, by following my intuition, that gut feeling. This could be the person I should talk to. This could be the person I should go for a coffee with. Instead of having doubts, let me take them gentle, safe, or maybe even, I won't say risky risks, but, I'll step out my comfort zone sometimes because maybe that's what needs to be done to find that life partner. But I also won't be actively looking because it also has to be a natural process. Again, I know that's kind of contradictory, but I'm sure you get what I mean. I want it to come naturally, but I need to be putting myself out there for the chance to meet that special person. And here's a question I haven't written down before I answer the last one that I wrote. What is love for me? And I don't know if I can answer that, but that popped into my head, so I want to give it a go. What is love? Love is friendship. Love is consistency in the way emotions and feelings are shared. Love is knowing that your significant other cares for you, wants the best for you, and they also know that that is reciprocated. I'm going to sit down and write down what love is to me after this or tomorrow. Because that could be a fun exercise. Last one. How comfortable am I to talk about love with my male friends? Let's take it back to a social setting. Down the pub, again, I don't do pubs, but I'm just talking in general. It could be we've gone out to play football and we finished football, and now we're just having that little conversation, that chit chat, that, it could be anywhere. It could be at work. How comfortable am I to talk to male friends about love? I would like to say a 10, I'd like to say a 9, I'd like to say an 8, but we're going lower, 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 and lower. This is something I am working on. Now, I can't say I'm comfortable to talk about love as such. What I have been doing is telling people at work, male friends, when we talk about relationships, I want a life partner. Now, I hope I'm able to evolve that one to explain what a life partner is for me. And I hope I'm able to say, I want to fall in love and potentially marry, the lady that I fall for. And then, if I can be even brave enough to talk about what love is for me, which would be huge. I mean, that even feels a million miles away just thinking about that. So to give a score between 1 and 10, How comfortable am I to talk about love with my male friends? At the moment, it's very low. Unfortunately, it is a 2. But I do believe with the progress I'm making and the openness with conversations I have at work with friends, I think I can pick that up. I'd like to say at least a 5 by this time next year if I continue the progress that I'm making. Maybe even higher, who knows? Hmm. I apologize also this episode if my eyes have been dropping away from the camera and I've been looking all over the place, which I feel I might have. And that is really because, like I told you at the start of this episode, I haven't um, practiced these answers. I've literally written them down before I've jumped on and done this. And I am thinking as I'm reading the questions, and I think you can see that. I hope you can see that. And I hope that doesn't take away from what I've tried to do. But I've really reflected on these questions. They're powerful ones. It actually feels good to get them questions out. Funnily enough, my hand goes on my heart as I say it. It feels good to get them questions and them answers out. Go on, that's your challenge. Write down questions similar to this kind of thing, however you like to word them, and ask yourself them and answer. Use a pen and paper and write the answers if you need to, but if you can actually speak them answers into existence, it's actually a very exciting experience. It feels good. So guys, and I say guys, ladies as well, but especially guys, let's talk about love. Be honest. Be honest with your partners, be honest with your friends. Help them to have that conversation and be brave enough to have that conversation. Because men don't talk about this, and they should. Because we're human and we need a safe space. And a safe space will be with people that you trust and love. Thank you for joining me on episode 3 of Manly Ego podcast. Thank you.